So you know the feeling, you've done your affirmations, your visualizations, maybe even some scripting. Maybe you try to do nothing at all and convince that everything is working in your favor. But instead of trusting the process, your mind starts asking, am I doing this right? What if I'm blocking it? Should I try a new technique? Should I try a new statement? Should I try to convince myself of something else? And just like that, you're spiraling. So here is the deeper issue. Overthinking isn't just thinking too much, right? It's a form of resistance because it's rooted in the belief that what you're doing is just not enough. Overthinking says, well, I need to figure this out, or worse, if I don't figure this out, my manifestation won't happen. But here's the deal. Manifestation isn't something you figure out. It's something that's happening 24/7, 365 days a year anyway, as a result of who you're identifying as. So manifestation is spontaneous and natural. It's happening whether you like it or not, whether you notice or not. Manifesting is your nature in this human experience. Imagine you're trying to manifest love, right? So you've been affirming, I'm loved, I'm chosen, or you're just trying to remind yourself that everything is working in your favor, and then your mind jumps to, well, should I text them first? What if they don't reply? Maybe I need to change my techniques. Maybe I need to switch up an affirmation. You start Googling new techniques. Maybe trying a little bit of scripting, shadow work, some phrases, just trying to be still, and then you're just exhausted. So all of this overthinking comes from that same place, the belief that you're separate from your desire, that there is still a gap to bridge. And here's the thing though, you are not separate. Your overthinking is like clouds temporarily blocking the clear sky of awareness. The love that you're seeking, well, it's already here. You just need to notice it. And all of this overthinking goes hand in hand with not trusting the process, believing that things are not unfolding in your favor. And this pattern doesn't just make you doubt the process, it makes you doubt yourself, leaving you feeling like you're bad at trusting altogether. Or there's something off with you that you need to fix. So it's a cycle, but it's one we can break, The thing is though, you're not bad at trusting. Your problem is not that you don't know how to trust or that you're just bad at it. No, not at all. In fact, you're already great at trusting. You've been just great at trusting that things won't work out for you. You've been great at trusting the seemingly wrong things. I mean, think about it. You trust that things will go wrong, don't you? That something unexpected will show up, you'll never get your SB, and you trust this so strongly that it feels automatic. You've been trusting in your doubts, trusting in the idea that you make bad choices, that you're stuck in identities that don't serve you, that you love going back and forth. You've been trusting in going back and forth between what you want and what you don't have. You've been excellent at trusting in stories of lack and decisions, those kind of decisions. So let's get this straight. You don't need to work on trusting. You already know how to trust. What you do need is to play with trusting in decisions that serve you and trusting in outcomes that you've defined as better, in identities that you've decided align with who you truly want to be, right? And we'll get in a moment as to how you can do that. Now let's just talk about what trust is not. Trust is not about turning to affirmations, visualizations, or saturating your mind with reminders of thoughts like, oh, everything is unfolding in my favor. Sure, those things can help, but they're not sustainable if they're built on a shaky foundation. Because affirmations, visualizations, and even reminders of just phrases rely on blind repetition in your mind, on ideas that come and go. They're like trying to patch a leaking boat instead of building a stronger one. It's just not that useful. So what you do need is something deeper, meaning something more constant, something stable and unshaken by circumstances, a foundation that does not change no matter what happens around you, no matter what. So how do you find this unchanging experience? How do you access this sense of stability or the sense of ease or stillness? Here's the truth. It's already here. The unchanging experience is the awareness that notices your thoughts, doubts, and emotions. It's the you that is always staying steady, whether you're riding the highs of hope and excitement or the lows of fear. So awareness itself does not react. It doesn't change. It simply is, right? And we've seen this through various guided pauses, but here's a more practical part that you can play with. So start by pausing, notice your stories, whatever thoughts are showing up. You're simply noticing. Then you move into the rest phase and ask yourself, what is here right now if I stop labeling everything? Just notice what you experience. Or try this question. Who is aware of my experience right now? Notice what shows up. Who is noticing my thoughts, my emotions, and even this question? Just see where this question is pointing you to. Now, if these questions don't quite resonate, here's something else that you can try. Notice the space between your thoughts. Even when your mind feels busy or your thoughts feel overwhelming, there's always a small gap between them. What is that space like? Take a moment to notice its qualities. That stillness, that openness. It's what people call awareness, consciousness, love, freedom, your God self. The name doesn't matter. Without that space, nothing could exist, not your thoughts, emotions, or even your sense of self. Everything arises within the space and is made of it. And the space is nothing but your awareness. So from this awareness, from this stillness, you can ask yourself, can anything truly be missing from this experience right now? No. Notice your experience without labels. So the opposite of everything is missing is simple. It's that everything is here. Nothing is separate. It's all contained in this same space. Let that sink in. Nothing is missing, right? This is not an affirmation that you're repeating. It is your direct experience. Do you see this? The space, the awareness, the stillness, it's not something you need to find. It's already here, always here. And from this space, you can trust fully because everything is already present, whole, and complete in this space. So now notice what is happening. You're trusting. Not because you're forcing it, not because you're repeating affirmations or phrases to convince yourself, not because you're saying, oh, I am everything, I am love, I am grace. No, but because trusting is now a natural side effect of noticing your direct experience. You're trusting in things unfolding your way, not as a wish, but as a reflection of this spacious awareness. Feel free to go back to these questions. Play with them. You're trusting in yourself naturally because this exploration reveals that there is nothing to fix, nothing lacking, nothing missing. This is your actual experience. It's not me trying to convince you, is it? Now you're trusting in better decisions, not because you worked hard to believe in these decisions, but because from this space of stillness, those decisions arise effortlessly. There's nothing to push against this decision. So do you see it? Do you see how you don't have to coax yourself into believing this as some external statement? It's not a mantra or an affirmation to repeat. It's not something you need to force. It's something what unfolds simply when you recognize the completeness of your experience right now, by just noticing what it's like without accessing your labels. So trusting is not something you do. It's something that you are, something that you allow when you see that everything is already whole and present within you. So trusting is not about forcing yourself to believe in a specific outcome. It's about turning towards the part of you. It's not even really a part, really, but you're turning towards that you that doesn't waver, the awareness that holds it all. So from that space, trust is not something you have to build like a muscle. No, it's something simply that you allow. And when you trust from this unchanging foundation, the decisions you make and the outcomes you create come from clarity and certainty, not fear. That's the kind of trust that doesn't crumble, especially when things start to feel challenging. It's the kind that carries you forward effortlessly. So let's just apply this to a relationship example. So imagine you're manifesting a specific person and you've been thinking about this person. You've been affirming, well, I am loved, and visualizing your ideal relationship, going back to your imagination constantly. But then a thought pops up, well, they're not even here yet. What if this never works? What if it's just too late for me? That thought feels heavy and it pulls you into frustration or doubt. You might even start reacting, affirming harder, switching techniques, or judging yourself for feeling like this. And then you might even force yourself to be still. So instead, right now, I want you to pause for a moment. Instead of getting caught up in the thought, notice something else. That thought, they're not even here yet, is simply arising in something. Without this something, the thought could not even exist. So what is that something? It's the space in which the thought appears. So just take a moment and observe. Without the still, open space of your awareness, none of your thoughts, emotions, or even your sense of self could exist. And so you recognize that everything that appears in this space is made of this space. Just like waves are made of water and clouds are made of air. Your thoughts and emotions are made of the space in which they arise. So ask yourself next, if this space is the source of anything at all, can anything be truly missing from it? Can anything be separate from it? No, it can't. So the opposite of something is missing is what? Is that everything is here. And that is the truth of your experience. Everything, your desire, your love, your fulfillment, every single opportunity that you want, every single behavior that you want is already present in this space. And here's another layer to this. The thought, they're not here yet, is just a label. It's the mind's way of interpreting the moment. But if you look closely, does this space itself have that label? Does it say not enough or not here? No. The space is still neutral and untouched by any thought. And if the space has no labels, then the idea of lack doesn't actually exist, except as a passing thought. So what does that mean for your manifestation? It means that your desire is not out there, waiting to be achieved. It's already here, contained in the same space as your thoughts, emotions, and everything else. So when you stop labeling, you just stop labeling this moment as not enough, you begin to see something new. You recognize that nothing is missing, and this is the truth of who you are, the awareness in which everything arises. So look at it this way. If you're craving chocolate, the craving itself arises in your awareness. Now the thought of the taste, the imagined joy of eating it, and even the physical experience of eating it, all of it happens within the same space of awareness. And that means the experience of chocolate is already with you before you even take a bite, right? It's the same with love, abundance, or anything else that you desire. The moment you realize that nothing exists outside of the space, including your desire, you stop chasing. You recognize that everything is here. And that manifestation flows naturally. So once again, ask yourself, what is here right now? Beneath all the labels that my mind tries to put on it, what is present in this very moment? Can I notice the space where everything arises and actually observe that nothing is missing? When you let go of the labels, you'll see the fullness of this moment. Nothing is separate. Everything you've desired is always here in this space. And from this space, anything that you ever truly want appears in your life, because you're coming from this neutral, loving, confident, unshakable awareness, the real you, the true you. So if you want to explore this more, I'd love to chat with you for video and email coaching sessions. The link is in the description, or you can email me for details to hello@theanilareddy.com, or you can check out my Weightless Experience or my other mini courses as well. I want to know what kind of comments you have, insights you have in the comments below. I'll catch you in the comments.